The toggle switch is an input component, like the knob. Just like with the knob, we can tell Arduino to check what the toggle switch is set to. But while the knob has a range of settings that it can be at, the toggle switch can only be set to on or off. Let's look at the documentation page for the toggle switch to see how we can check whether the toggle switch is set to on or off in our code. Go to learn.awesomeshield.com, click Reference, and then click Toggle Switch. This page tells us about a function. On AwesomeShield documentation pages, the code you can use to call a function is always at the top of the gray box. So this one is awesome toggle switch is on. Next is a description of what the function does. This function checks if the toggle switch is set to on. If the function returns a value, the value it returns is explained here. So this function returns a bool or a boolean. A bool or boolean is a kind of value that can only be equal to true or false, so it only has two options. This is the perfect kind of value to tell us about the toggle switch, since it only has two settings, on over here or off over here. Let's take a look at how Arduino thinks about boolean values and the toggle switch. But how will we do this? We can't look inside Arduino's brain, but we can tell it to send us messages or information through the serial connection. Serial is really helpful when we need information about what's going on while Arduino is running our code. We use the serial connection to see how the knob worked during our Super Siren project. Okay, so now that we've got the general idea, let's write some code. The first step is to type the serial println function inside of loop. You can do that by typing serial with a big S .println, then opening and closing round brackets and a semicolon. Then you should add the awesome.toggleswitch.isOn function as the input for the serial println function. Let's add a delay of 1000 milliseconds after our serial println function. This way, we'll have a second to read what Arduino is sending us every time it sends us a message. Try typing this code in your Arduino IDE and then uploading it. Uploading can take a while, but don't worry, I'll wait as long as you need. Just pause the video. Once you've uploaded your code, open the serial monitor by clicking the little magnifying glass here. I'm going to show you my serial monitor and my hardware at the same time so that we can see them together. Try flipping the toggle switch and watch how the information in the serial monitor window changes. The toggle switch is always set to on or off, but Arduino is sending us a number, either 1 or 0. This is because computers like to think about information using numbers instead of words. If we set the toggle switch to on, Arduino sends a 1. And if we set the toggle switch to off, Arduino sends a 0. Let's look at the code that we wrote again. The awesome toggle switch is on function returns a value. So when Arduino runs our sketch, it will convert this code into a value. Then this code tells Arduino to send that value to our computer through the serial connection. We've seen on our computer that that value is a 1 or a 0. When the toggle switch is set to on, then the function toggle switch is on gets turned into the value true. But Arduino likes to think in numbers, not words, so it uses the number 1 to stand for true. But if the toggle switch is set to off and Arduino runs the function toggle switch is on, it will turn into the value false because the toggle switch is not on. But Arduino says 0 instead of false because it thinks using numbers. Zeros and ones are how Arduino thinks about Boolean values. We can create variables that are Boolean values, and they can only ever be 1, true, or 0, false. Having only two options might seem really limited, But computers think about a ton of things, like how to play a video or post a Facebook message or fly an airplane, using just zeros and ones. Now we know how Arduino thinks about the toggle switch as being on or off, as two different numbers, 1 or 0. Next, we're going to need to tell it how to use this information to make decisions.